Yeah, whenever I seem to talk about a Marvel movie and start talking about negatives, it seems to piss people off. So, since I'm going to be pissing you off anyway, I'm going to do this whole review as Batman. Let's do this. Hello, and welcome back to another midnight showing. As always, I'm Batman, and I just got out of Doctor Strange. And I do have to say, this movie was actually really pretty goddamn good. Not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. It kind of reminds me of Ant-Man. It's just fun. It really just knows that it needs to be fun and entertaining more than it needs to be angsty and brooding. So it has fun with its premise and, well, does what it can with it. But yeah, if you're looking for a non-spoiler, non-informative, recommendation, go see this movie immediately. You're going to do it anyway. It means it's Marvel and it's Doctor Strange. Of course you're going to go see it. But really, let's actually start talking about this. As always, the first thing to talk about is the cast, which is amazing from everybody. Yes, I know that there was a bit of backlash, we'll call it that, to Taylor Swinton as the Ancient One. Being that the Ancient One is supposed to be a Tibetan monk and a man, they changed it to a Celtic woman. I get why they did that. They want to pander to China, which is what we're seeing more and more in movies these days, because that's where, let's face it, a good chunk of profits for these movies come from, so we have to pander to those audiences, and they're not a fan of Tibetans. Is it wrong? Yes. But at least here it's understandable versus other movies that tend to do stuff like this, like, say, Gods of Egypt, where it's done for really no reason whatsoever. But everybody else was basically perfect inside their roles. Even Benedict Cumberbatch doing an American accent, which does sound forced at times, but they try to work that forcedness into certain moments, so it does work overall, in my opinion. But by far the best selling point of this movie is its visuals. And I swear to God, they are sending residual checks to Christopher Nolan right now because they stole a lot from Inception. Just saying. Which makes Batman even more proud that I'm Batman. But seriously, the visuals, the special effects actually use a lot of trickery of the eye, like the infinite staircase and whatnot. They have those little infinite puzzles, where something's like growing and you see a smaller version of that growing and growing and growing and growing to infinity, like the little mirror tricks and stuff. Combine that with some of the action in this movie, and it is freaking mind-blowing how amazing this shit looks. Seriously, the trailers do not just do this justice. Go see this in 3D. It is totally worth it. I can tell you that from experience. It's amazing in 3D. Also, as I said before, the movie is really entertaining. It's hilarious. It's got so many fun moments inside of it. I mean, they are not afraid to ruin an action scene by throwing in a joke that you think wouldn't work, but does amazingly. And by far, the best character in this film is Doctor Strange's cloak. Yeah, his cloak is alive, and it just reminds you of Carpet from Aladdin. It's amazing. And in all honesty, I could go for hours just talking about some of these funny moments and just how they work so well. Like Doctor Strange being just basically House inside of this movie. House with magic powers. And he can just do whatever the fuck he wants. And he's willing to insult you because, well, yeah, he's that good. I will also say the banter between Rachel McAdams and Benedict Cumberbatch feels really natural and well-paced, and I have to say that was probably the most entertaining part about the non-magic sections of this film. Unfortunately, we can't sit here and just talk about the good forever. We all have to move on to the part that's going to piss off everybody who doesn't like to hear negatives about these movies. They're also the same people that bitch about these movies. Usually. So, without further ado, so if there is one thing that Marvel has a very, very big problem with, it's the villains. And this time it's not for the reason you would think. Mads Mikkelsen was a perfect choice to play the evil zealot inside of this film. And I have to say that he just looks fucking scary. scary. The guy is naturally intimidating. It's Doctor Strange versus Hannibal Lecter. The Chief is here to seriously kick your balls in. Doctor, you should probably be very careful. So if he's so good, then why is he in the negative section? Simple. He's not in nearly enough of the movie. Total screen time, I'm pretty sure this guy maybe got 15 minutes of a 2-hour film. Seriously. What was he doing? Where was he? I mean, seriously, his story doesn't really do anything with Doctor Strange until about 2/3 of the film, and then Strange just decides he's the only guy that can fight them now, so go and fight. Yeah. But honestly, he did not get the shaft as much as the big bad of the Doctor Strange universe, Dormammu. Yeah. Before I even just start talking about what's wrong with Dormammu, based on what you saw of him at the end of the film, based on all of that really awesome sequence where Doctor Strange, just goes, I have come to make a bargain. During all of that, would you have gotten that Dormammu was supposed to be a fire demon? No, you wouldn't have. Because he's not fire at all. He's a big fucking cloud with a face on it. Seriously, did we seriously just steal from fucking Galactus inside of Rise of the Silver Surfer again? Or better yet, there's been somebody who's already connected all of this to basically being a better version of Green Lantern. It's Parallax from the Green Lantern movie. Just colored purple shimmering instead of puke gray and brown. And seriously, Dormammu. Fucking Dormammu. The big bad. This is like them turning Galactus. But, I mean, this is them turning Thanos into a giant fucking cloud after he gets the freaking Infinity Gauntlet. Seriously, this is dumb shit. Granted, I will give Dormammu credit over things like Galactus and Parallax. Dormammu has a personality, and he does actually do stuff and show that he is powerful and they can do more than just hover like a shimmering purple acid trip. Come to think of it, this whole movie can be seen as one big acid trip. Now that was the real big problem with it, so the only things I'm going to be talking about now are just kind of nitpicks for me. And one of the negatives for me personally is we don't really get to see any kind of heroics from Doctor Strange until the final bout of the movie inside the last act, which I think is really, really a big problem for his setup of his character. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's fun to watch, he's entertaining. As I said, he's House with magic powers, but he's still an asshole until he decides to, engage the bad guys when he gets suddenly transported to the New York house by accident. I mean, other than that, he's done nothing to show that he's even remotely a good or likable person. He's entertaining to watch, but that doesn't make him good. And it really sucks, especially for me who knows the comic book backstory of him, about how, the Ancient One refused to teach Doctor Strange until he proved that he was a good person. In which he does by overhearing Mordo, who's also in this film, who just turns randomly bad at the end, because sequel. Mordo is going to kill the Ancient One. He's going to assassinate him. Doctor Strange overhears this and tries to warn the Ancient One, only to get bound by a silent spell by Mordo. Though the Ancient One already knew that this betrayal was coming, the fact that Doctor Strange, even after everything that happened, was willing to just tell the Ancient One this, proves that he was, deep down, a good person. We don't get that kind of a moment inside of this movie until the last third of the film. I mean, wouldn't this have been better to actually show the Ancient One, himself proving himself to the Ancient One? I'm just saying, we needed more. I'd also like to point out just how shockingly easy it is to actually learn and get into this magic stuff. I mean, inside of the version that I always go to when I think of Doctor Strange's backstory, which is the animated movie from a few years ago, which if you have not watched that, seriously, go watch it immediately. It is far superior to this film in basically every way, and you can get it for $5 at Walmart. Just go. There's a brilliant metaphor inside of there as to why Strange really is having such a hard time learning all this stuff inside of the film, inside of that film anyway, where the Ancient One keeps telling him to build a wall. I really wish there was a moment like that inside of this film, where we actually do get to see him, conquer everything. Instead, what we get is he gets teleported to Everest and say, "You better find out how to do this fast. Bye!" Granted, it's a funny scene, but it doesn't have nearly the impact something like the wall building inside of the Doctor Strange animated movie really did have. So I'm just asking, why couldn't we have done something better? That's all I'm asking. With all that said, this movie is still freaking amazing. It's fun, it's funny, it's action-packed, visually it's amazing, the acting is superb from everybody, given what they are actually given. I just wish the writing had been tweaked a little bit, so that we get more of, I want to say the comic book version of Doctor Strange, rather than the movie version. But that's more of a nitpick on my side. The only real flaw with the movie are the villains, which were, once again, just Marvel's big problem overall. Still, my final verdict from this whole thing is it's a must-see. Go see it in 3D because that shit will blow your mind and you're going to love it. And yeah, that's it for me. Have you seen Doctor Strange? Tell me what you thought about it in the comments below. Maybe we'll get some healthy discussion going. And as always, if you like what you see, be sure to hit the like button, the share button, and subscribe for more. Be sure to follow me on the social medias like Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. I know that Twitch is technically not social media, but yeah, I'm going to go with that. And yeah, that's it from me. As always, I'm Batman, and I'll see you all next time.